This episode of the Barclay Street podcast is presented by the Victorian Responsible Gambling Foundation, a proud partner of the Bulldogs. Join us in helping kids understand the importance of loving the game, not the odds. For tips on talking to your kids about the risks of sports betting, visit lovethegame.vic.gov.au. Hello and welcome to the Western Bulldogs podcast, Barclay Street, on what's been a pretty grim couple of days, it has to be said. Got to address the elephant in the room. Got a man who's always got a smile on his face, and I love seeing him. I love hearing from him every week. Easton Wood, how are you, man? How'd you pull up from your Ballarat sojourn?
Yeah, great, Bobo. Great use of sojourn too. Appreciate that. Just was really happy to be back in the team, mate, after a long way off, and felt really good out there. Felt like I had everything that I needed, and obviously playing in the team the way that we're playing is really special. So it was a great performance from the boys, and was just happy to be a small part of it, mate.
Yeah, no, it was another mature victory by the boys. It was nice and controlled and difficult conditions, it looked like, and Adelaide got off to a decent start, but then it was a bit of a formality after that. Did it feel good out there on the ground, back in the rhythm of it?
Yeah, it really did. And I think you mentioned there at the start of the game, we probably didn't have it looking the way we wanted to in the first 5 or 10 minutes. It was a bit up and back, and in particular, they were able to move the ball through the middle of the ground, which we weren't happy with. But after we corrected a couple of things there, it felt like we were in control from the game, and felt like we were strong across all lines, and it was a fair performance from two of our high half-backs in Bailey Dale and Caleb. I thought they were they're incredible. Watching them, so you could obviously see on the vision that there was a decent wind, but you could have been forgiven for watching it when our boys were kicking into it and thinking that there wasn't a wind at all, the way that they were masterfully penetrating over long distance and being able to hit guys on the chest. A couple of Bailey Dale's kicks were outrageous, 60 metres into the wind. It was just.
Do you think Bailey being officially inducted into the halfback flank establishment sort of put a bit more lead in his pencil? Do you think?
It's hard to argue with that. The evidence is supports that for sure. Yeah, it's it. He's well and truly taken that mantle very well.
So another lockdown, mate. It does feel like to me this one has really knocked people around. So to anyone listening, our supporters, if you're doing it hard, and plenty of people are, we are thinking of you. This thing's a real bastard of a thing. Whatever station of life you're at, so we are thinking of you. But just from a pure, in your little football universe, what sort of effect does it have on the daily and weekly routine?
Well, it's just being able to adjust to whatever is going to come next. So we know that our game on the weekend is on Sunday with Essendon, but we're kind of waiting and bracing because all things happened so quickly yesterday. What that next change is going to be. So we still think that game. I haven't heard anything that's different about our game happening on the weekend, but it certainly does throw a lot of stuff into chaos, and it makes it difficult to get state league games or scratch matches off the ground, which is really hard for those guys trying to put their hand up for senior selection and get continuity. Like the guys in that position, it's been really hard to get any kind of continuity at all this year. So that's a challenge. But we're fortunate, mate, to be in here and actually training today. So we're the lucky ones at the moment.
What was it like playing alongside Josh Shackey? I wouldn't imagine you've played much footy alongside him down back. How's he fitting in? It seems to be a pretty successful experiment so far.
Yeah, well, funny story, mate. The last time I was this close to Shaq on the ground, I was actually playing on him when he played for Brisbane, and I did a pretty dog act and whacked him in the guts and got a fine. I did. I hit him off the ball. So sorry, Shaq. He's moved on though. We've moved on. We're pals. That happens.
Hey? Air out dirty laundry.
Yeah, he forgave me. I was a bit sheepish when he came across early days, but no, it was great to have him down there. He reads the ball so well in defence. The way he can set up and adjust to what's happening out there has been first class, and he keeps putting himself into position to either disrupt or mark the ball, which is, as you know, just if you can do that as a defender, you're just worth your weight in gold. So been really pleased with how quickly and seamlessly it seems like he's made that transition in such a short space of time.
So with the backdrop of lockdown 6 and the dark cloud that brings with it to all of us, there is some really positive stuff happening. The club recorded membership of 46,541, which I think is the second highest ever in our history, which is pretty amazing considering what's happening, around the world in Australia with COVID. So well done to all the loyal Bulldog supporters. Massive effort. And a couple of re-signings, mate. Anthony Scott re-signed and Jamara Ugle-Hagan re-signed as well. That must have given the boys a bit of a lift in the locker room.
Yeah, absolutely. And both great stories. And Scotty, after, plugging away for years and years and years and probably thinking his chance wasn't eventually going to come, finally getting onto an AFL list this year. For him to go from that to signing a 2-year deal, you must imagine the relief and the pride and how good he must be feeling with that, which is really special. And great to have Jamara extend and commit for those 2 years too. So it's exciting times at the moment, mate. All the guys are obviously, it's a great place to be. We really enjoy each other's company, and we enjoy playing together. And it's great to see that translating into guys extending and being here for the long term.
No, it looks like you guys are playing with a lot of camaraderie at the moment. For all of those highlights, I don't think we could top this though. We got a tweet during the week, Ethan, hashtag Barclay Street, of course, and it was from April Andrews. Oh, pardon me. April Andrews is her name. And she tweeted, "My daughter brought her new boyfriend home for the first time yesterday. His name is Jaden. After mistakenly calling him Jared and then Jason, I've decided that from now on, he will be known as Citrus." So we've already found a home for Citrus.
I love that. Like you get the name wrong once, but then to get it wrong again with a different name, that's brutal. So, he's only going to be reminded by it every time he's called Citrus from now on. So that's wonderful. That lasting legacy.
That's a tough debut. That's a real tough one. What about Jongy, mate? It's conversation. It's a bit of a heartbreaker, not just for those who know him, but I think Lin really captured something with his story. We watched it and his background and how much ground he broke as a footballer with an Asian background to start. The way he played, so brave and played with such passion and wore it on his sleeve. And then, you've had bad luck. Geez, we all get a bit of bad luck with injury-wise, but, it was an absolute wretched run and a mix, a total mix of injuries of, that is just bad luck. It's, I think he ends up with about 65 games, 10 years at the club. He deserved a hell of a lot more. How has it affected you and the group this week?
Yeah, obviously it was really sad, mate, to see Jongy making that decision. And as you know, he's been through so much in terms of those injuries. He said that wretched run. Like watching him go through that has been incredibly difficult, and I can only imagine how hard it's been for him at times in doing it. You're having multiple hammies, collarbones, knees. You're right. He did seem to have kind of everything. So it's an absolute testament to him that he managed to, have the career that he did. Being able to play for 10 years is an incredible effort under what is some serious duress. and to do it with, a smile on his face. I don't know if there's many funnier teammates going around. A lot of people have seen him make lighter situations on his Instagram, which has been, well documented how funny that's been. But that's what we get with Jongy every day in the change rooms. It's been special. And I think one of the nice things he said when he said he was hanging up the boots, he said, "Don't be sad for me, boys. I'm just so happy to have been here for 10 years and have got out what I have." And it was really lovely to hear him say that. And I'm excited for him for what's next, but obviously very sad to not be pulling on the jumper with him again.
I know we get to see the videos of these moments these days. That's the thing, players get up in front of their teammates. What's it like to be in the room though when a player like Jongy does stand up in there? How would you describe the kind of atmosphere in the room? I think people would be curious about.
Yeah, good question. Well, it's interesting because we go into the meeting room and normally there's not a camera in there. So cameras normally only mean that there's a milestone or someone debuting. Yeah. So immediately you look around to try and find what it is, what's going on. And then we look across and we see Jongy in plain clothes and it drops of just like, oh no. He's sitting in a different seat. Everyone sits in the same seat as normal. So he's sitting in a different seat. It's really strange. And just like, oh God. So you can really feel the atmosphere, really kind of just sit back, and it's that waiting for what's next and kind of contemplating the decision that he's made, and then waiting for him to deliver that speech, which can be quite emotional at times. He did really well to get out and say the things that he did in such a lovely way. But it is very sad, and you do just feel. I think every footballer knows that they're going to go through it themselves as well from that perspective. And he's probably one of the lucky ones that gets to stand up in front and call it. Not everyone gets to do that. So it is. It's just sad.
Well, it's a treat for us because after we have a bit of a chat here and we'll take a little break, we're going to get the great Lin Jong in to have a chat and reminisce about some of the better times, I reckon, because
absolutely
he had a fine career and he's admired, wasn't he? Particularly internally, really highly rated and as brave as they come. And his ability, he had those injuries, but some of the injuries he was able to play through. That busted hand that he had, and he had the operation, had that plate put in, and he was having lunch at the cafe, and I had a look at it. It was grotesque. Like, it was like, he could barely pick up his knife and fork, and he was playing that weekend, and he was just sort of when you have those little moments of just
and not to mention with that same hand, when he broke it in the game, he continued to play in the ruck and was hitting the ball back when you go third man up, and he's going and punching the ball forward with a broken hand and not even flinching, and it's incredible what he managed to do sometimes.
There's plenty of myths in footy, but one of the things that I've always long admired, the things that players have been able to play through my whole footy career, broken cheekbones and hands, and anyway, but Jongy's certainly on that list, and we'll chat to him soon. Mate, the Olympics, has it taken your fancy at all? Have you been absorbing it? You've got a bit of athletic background, haven't you? Mum and Dad both jumpers.
Yeah, Mum and Dad were Commonwealth Games athletes. They never made it to the Olympics, but they obviously devoted a large portion of their lives to achieve that feat. So very proud of them for doing that. But yeah, I'm a big fan of I've been loving the Olympics, but in particular the track and field. I think it's just it's so special. Any sport really, you get to sit back and watch someone who's dedicated their entire life to be the best they can in this particular event, and you just get to sit and watch them be great, which is it's so special. And just some of the times and stuff that they're running, and heights they're jumping, and distance, and all this stuff is just mind blowing. It's absolutely mind blowing.
Yeah, the handling of the pressure and the consequences. And it feels like the older you get, the more you realise that they are just completely fully invested, and you're laid bare. And so success is so heightened, whether it be with a medal or a personal best or making it, or whatever that success is, has different shades. But then there's heartbreak as well, and it just rips me apart. I get quite tense when I watch, some of the events, and you get to hear the stories of some of these athletes from all over the world. It's pretty powerful stuff. It's been I think this Olympics has been a real reminder for me anyway of those. They are the real deal, They are experts, and hats off. It's incredible.
Yeah, well said.
Why don't we take a quick break, and we'll bring in the great Lin Jong for, what might be his final chat on the Barclay Street podcast. Hello and welcome back to a very special, albeit maybe a bit of a sombre edition of Barclay Street today, the Western Bulldogs podcast, because in a football sense anyway, we say goodbye to one of our favourite sons, and that is Lin Jong, aka Glenn, aka Glennis. Lin, how are you, man? Day after the announcement, how are you feeling? What are sort of some of the emotions that come to mind right at the moment, mate?
Feeling pretty good, actually. The whole week's been pretty crazy, but after all of it, sort of feel this big sense of relief. Got to enjoy a few midweek red wines. So it's been good so far.
So take me through the sort of process of it. When you come to the decision, and who are the first people you kind of speak to? Is it people at the club, or is it people, family, management? How does it all work?
I guess sort of honestly flagged it pretty early with my management when I did my hamstring, and sort of spoke to a couple of boys about it, and then once I sort of had that meeting that I wasn't going to be able to play again for the rest of the year, that's when I sort of spoke to Priz, the welfare manager, and mum, dad, family, and just sort of close friends. So Woody didn't make that.
Yeah, notice it. I didn't get a call either, but
it's an aggressive start. I like it. It was going to be nice, but if you
I'm still waiting on a text from Woody, but I think no, it's okay. I don't care, mate.
Any day now, Easton. Jeez.
All right, this is how it's going to be. Okay, all right.
Has it been upsetting for you, or has it been kind of nice to like put the weight off the shoulders? The decision's been made, and then to hear from different people and sort of be able to just put it in its box.
Yeah, I think I was sort of more upset leading into it. Sort of hearing the news that I couldn't play, that really got me, because all I wanted to do was sort of finish my career on the field at least. But sort of once I processed that, I was obviously quite sad telling the boys, but I don't know, just sort of I'd say I feel more happy than sad overall.
Yeah. What was it like telling the boys?
It was a struggle. I thought I was going to do a lot worse than I did. I honestly thought I wouldn't be able to string a sentence together, but it was really nerve-wracking sort of beforehand. But I really wanted to sort of use the opportunity just to say thanks to everyone, basically. And so I'm glad it sort of got that, I guess, closure in a way.
Yeah, we did such a good job, mate. You spoke incredibly well. So I don't know if you were rehearsing or you wrote some things down, but it obviously went really well. But in the time since, have you sat back and had to think about some of your great moments over the 10 years? Have some of those been some nice memories to think about again?
I did have a good sit back and think of the good memories, and that lasted a couple of minutes. So, no, really, I have reflected a lot, and I mentioned, people might see it as a sort of a sad sort of ending, or the terms that unlucky or sort of has been thrown around with me in my career. But looking back, I just feel so lucky to have been at the Bulldogs and stayed at the Dogs. And it is a bit corny and whatnot, but I just loved every moment there, and reflecting back is just everything's just good memories. So yeah,
must give you good peace of mind, I reckon, mate. That and you and I chatted on radio yesterday, and I think you finished 10 years and 65 games, which is that's a big achievement in itself. But the three of us sitting here right now, I think we all know that number deserved to be at least 100, and the name on the locker and all of those things. But I think and I hope you do know the regard and respect you had in the locker room, and the way you played the game. You were tough and disciplined, and a real team man. And right from the start, I've just got this image of you I think it's your first game. Was it down at Geelong?
Second, I think that was, yeah. Early days, though.
And that you had to sit under that horrible floating ball, and you went back with, just that raw bravery and got absolutely smashed. And it was one of those moments that does inspire the rest of your teammates. And it's, so I hear the news yesterday. My mind goes to that moment. And I think that's a pretty special thing. And I think that's something you need to hear, especially in these
Thanks,
times.
mate. It's actually funny you brought that moment up. And we actually didn't tee this up, but Woody was the one who let that bloke jump into me, actually. So thanks for that, Woody.
I got pulled aside. Brendan McCartney pulled me aside after the game and gave me a very good lesson and let me know about it every moment.
We actually didn't tee that up.
I just thought you had it, mate. I thought you were coming back. I thought, so you got a ball, you're all sweet. I'll let you go. I was peeling off. I was ready. Took too long to get up.
You wanted to be the receiver to use those silky skills of yours these days. Good
mate, come on.
Hey, stay in your lane, mate. Stay in your lane. So what next, Jongy? You're going to have a bit of a spell for a while. I mean, obviously, right now lockdown's a bit of a kick to the plums. You can't really get up to too much exciting adventures. But have you thought too far ahead? Are you going to have a bit of a spell from get away, or what are you going to do?
For I guess maybe a couple of months, I think I might just sort of just relax and hopefully when the opportunity arises, get away and do a little bit of travelling. But sort of, I guess like the little things that I have been looking forward to is sort of gone for a nice jog and not having to push myself or just stopping whenever I want to, sort of thing. So I think I'll really sort of enjoy the little things like that, and I guess eating sort of junk food here and there. Not that I never didn't do that, but just without the guilt this time around. And I think I'll really sort of embrace those things that I guess we couldn't do as professional athletes.
Well, mate, it's a huge week for you. I'm sure you'd be pretty drained just by the emotion and the conversations and the reminiscing and all that. But I think it's important, to feel the love, because you were definitely a player that the locker room barracked for, and I think you're getting a sense of our supporters of how much they respected you from your background and what you represented to so many people in the Asian community. I think in time that your influence and impact will be more and more significant year on year, mate, and you should be extremely proud of that and the example that you showed. But just as a teammate, we love playing with you, we love watching you, and our hats off to you, mate. And thanks for stopping by Barclay Street. Can't wait to catch up for a glass of red at some stage, my man.
Thanks, mate. Thanks for having me.
Well done, Johnny.
Look after yourself, bro.
If you ever need a new co-host, I'll be willing to take Woody's spot, by the way.
Well, funny you should bring that up. His performance.
Should we tell him now? Or?
His performance review is
That's it. I'm out.
And it's not going to be good.